So, folks, we thought that maybe today on Making the Point, we would start to talk a little bit about this enormous document called Project 2025, which some of you may have read or some of you may have heard of, certainly, and you may have read some things about it or heard some things about it. It is basically the guiding principles, the document that Republicans are using for Trump's second term to determine how the government is going to run and how the country is going to change. And I thought that we would start because there's a ton of stuff in this document that is just absolutely enraging. But what I thought that we would start by having a discussion about is what the very basis of the document is, which is a belief, and this is in section 1, which is called Taking the Reins of Government, is the belief of the, and this is largely the Heritage Foundation, and other actors too, that America is divided because it is separated into two factions. One that they call the woke revolutionaries, and the other that they call those who believe in the ideals of the American Revolution. So, just to start off with that, what are your thoughts? Is that how America is divided?
In a sense, but I think I don't have the sense that there's a real strict division just between these two parties, as the document states. I've never thought, and maybe I'm wrong, could be wrong about this, but I've never really thought that
The cats were playing with the batteries.
I've never really thought that huge numbers of people in the United States are woke. I don't believe that. There's certainly a goodly number, yes, but.
So just, what do you mean by woke?
Well.
Like, what do you mean by woke? Because I will tell you what they mean by woke here in just a second.
Well.
Do you want to hear what they mean by woke first?
Well, no, but probably most of what I'm going to say is going to be repeated when you describe it from there. Transgenderism. Transgenderism, that's to me, that's one of the first things I think of when I hear woke. Transgenderism, there must be more.
Hard to get past that, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
It's the one that they use so frequently.
It is. And I'm going to leave it at that with regard to what I think woke means and wait to hear it from you. But staying on the subject, again, I don't think that, I'll say it again, I don't think there are huge numbers of people who are woke in the sense of holding to transgenderism or any number of the ones that you're going to mention in a few minutes. I think the people that put this together have created a false description of what the division in America looks like. I don't really hold with that. There's some truth in it, but not to the extent I don't think that is made out in the document. I really don't.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of drums being beaten in the document, but this is, these are some of the things that they discuss as being part of the woke revolution. That the woke revolutionaries believe that the systems of America are inherently racist. That tracks for me. That they want to demand restrictions on people's behavior, as in mask mandates and forcing people to have vaccinations, trying to ban gas-powered vehicles or gas-powered stoves, defunding the police. They beat on that quite a lot. which was, completely, I have all kinds of things to say about that. Indoctrinating children, abridging free speech of all sorts, which is just ironic to me. Of course, denying that there are simply two sexes, and undermining a colorblind ideal, which is, again, I mean, it would be hugely laughable in its irony if it weren't so tragic. So I would agree with you in terms of transgenderism that it's new. It's like talking about being gay, I think, in the 1940s and 50s. We're sort of in that stage. But, the vast majority of Americans, I don't think, have ever met somebody who's transgender. So I don't think that they have a great deal of understanding of the issues that surround being transgender or gender fluid or any of these other things. Which, by the way, you can write all kinds of laws that you like, and it does not change the fact that there are people out there who do not feel sexually like the rest of us, or like the rest of you, or like the rest of anybody. There is a big, wide, old, world of diversity out there, particularly when it comes to gender and attitudes and feelings and desires about sex. So, to just say, oh, well, that's dirty and stupid and I don't like it, so we're going to make it illegal. And then it will go away. It's like, well, it's not going to go away. God, that fucking pisses me off so much. It just pisses me off. Just denial of people's experience. It's like, anyway. So those are the things that they say are part of the woke revolution. And you know what? I got to tell you, every single one of these, I have lots and lots of things to say about. But these are all dog whistles. This is part of the whole MAGA base and how they get people enraged by the idea of being liberal or being woke. Because it's like, well, they're trying to take your gas-powered vehicle away from you. They're trying to force you to do things that you don't want to do. They're trying to take your liberties away from you. They're trying to, you're going to send your kid to school and they're going to come back the different gender. I mean, these are the things some of these things are things that Trump said on the campaign trail. And it's just, the whole premise is stupid and fucked up from the very, very beginning of it. I'm probably going to curse a little bit today because, man, this stuff just absolutely enrages me. So I also would agree with you that I don't think that's what divides America. I think that there are a bunch of other things that divide America, and mostly I think it is fueled by propaganda-based media and the fact that the world is changing and white male supremacy is on the decline. And I don't think that white straight men in the Western world want to share the sandbox.
No.
So they're fighting it any way that they can. And that's why I think we're seeing things like, the whole bro culture and, all of that beginning to see a surge in popularity amongst young people. So in the several weeks that it took me to read Project 2025 through clenched teeth and a fair bit of Sauvignon Blanc, it's a document that I think is based on a wrong premise. Say hello to everybody, Remus. Hello. I think that it is just based on the wrong premise to begin with. Right? Yes, that's an eerie. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, first thought is that I do not hold for transgenderism. I believe what you're born as, you die as. But in no way, shape, or form, in my opinion, does that put me in the camp of the people who wrote this document. I mean, just because I happen to believe that particular thing, I would hope, or I would like for them to try to say that means I am in their camp. I'm not in their camp. no matter what I hold or don't hold. Uh, I think this has been said plenty of times, but and I was slow to come to this, I think, but I really believe that a lot of what motivates the right is fear. Fear of the white male dominated culture coming to an end. I really think that's may or may not be the most important thing, but in my opinion, excuse me, it's way up there. It's way up there.
I completely agree with you. And you're seeing this also reflected in European cultures too, the politics of Europe. And part of this, I think, has largely been as a result of immigration. You're seeing Brexit was largely as a result of resistance of white men, white culture in the UK being resistant to immigration from other parts of the world.
Yeah. I saw on TV last night that in the Dutch elections yesterday, the far right party lost a lot of seats. Now, as of last night, all the results went in, and both the left and the right were neck and neck, just neck and neck. But they made the point that the rightist party, which was very Islamophobic, as they put it, lost a whole lot of seats. They don't have anywhere near the seats that they had 4 years ago. So that's hopeful. That's a source of hope. It may just be a source of hope for Europe because I think that another thing about the the right is that I don't know if they look down on Europe or they just, for them, Europe is almost passé. It's passé or it is.
I think they think it's inconsequential.
Inconsequential. Yes, that's the word. Exactly. Yeah, I really think that. And so, what happens in Europe may or may not affect what happens here. I don't think it's going to affect it, for the right at least, affect it very much at all.
Yeah, it won't. Well, it will affect it in some ways. I mean, certainly when it comes to trade, it will affect it. That's true. But, just back to the point being is that I think that other Western cultures are beginning to realize what's happening and put the brakes on the far right. Because we've seen this movie before. I mean, and Europeans were, in a very unique way and in a much more direct way, affected by the Second World War and the rise and fall, thankfully, of fascism. So they're more plugged into it in a more historic way, in a more direct way than America is. And I think that for Americans, the Second World War is a distant relic. And I know that people love to come here to go to the World War II Museum. And if you have been, it's a great museum, fantastic museum. I'm not slagging it in any way or shape or form, but it's a very, very Americanized version of what happened in that war. And it's just lots and lots of red, white, and blue, lots of American heroes, and it couldn't have been done without us, and all of this sort of thing, which is, you can have whatever, it's an American museum, you're allowed to do whatever you want. But the truth is that I don't really think that Americans know very much about the Second World War, and I don't think that they know very much about the rise of Nazism and fascism. I don't think that they understand, other than Nazis bad, we don't like to be called Nazis. The Nazis has something to do with hating the Jews, and that was bad, But I don't think that they have any concept of how that all started, and I guess they were away that day in history class, or maybe it doesn't get taught. I mean, I don't know.
And also, I think Americans are basically insular. um, very insular compared to Europeans, and I would say, I guess, Asians too. But Americans really, they're not only insular. Can't make this huge blanket statement, which would be Americans aren't very bright. No.
That's what Canadians think.
Yeah, well.
By the way, I'm just going to say that, okay? Canadians have historically looked at America, scratched their head, and gone, that doesn't seem like a very smart idea. Shrugged their shoulders and went back to hockey. So.
You know, American, I don't know why it is. Americans, by and large, not all, certainly not all, but enough Americans are, they're not interested in science, which would help them, which would help perhaps convince them that climate change is going to kill us all as a species if we don't get rid of some things like gas-powered cars, perhaps. Don't give it too much interest in science. History. Americans don't know their own history. I really believe that. Americans do not know their own history. And I know how this sounds. It's, who is this gay boy in New Orleans sitting here pontificating, saying these things? Because he's an American too. Well, there's all kinds of Americans. I consider myself pretty intelligent, and I'm in no way ashamed of that. I'm not proud of it, but I'm happy that I want to know stuff. And wanting to know stuff means wanting to know the bad and the good. And I think that large numbers on the right simply don't want to know about or be reminded of our dark past. Just don't want to. Slaughtering the Native Americans, slavery, two monumental, huge stains on our history that they would just prefer to ignore. And you can try to ignore it, you know, but the past history remains the same whether you believe it or not.
That's right. And the evidence and the residual evidence of those dark times in American history are all around us, and that's hence why a lot of people who are woke, as they want to call it, are pretty considerate. A little bit of a tongue-tied today, but they understand that there are a lot of the systems throughout American history that continue on today, or at least continue to have effects on society today, have been racist at their cores. Like how banks lend money for mortgages, redlining in neighborhoods, employment, wages, all of these things for a very long time were absolutely racist. And because there are laws now, well, they're about to be all turned over. Many of them already are. But there were laws that tried to even the playing field to not just correct the problem, but to actually try and clean up the mess that the problem left behind. So, in terms of, and this is one of the things that I think I might like to describe, if there are two factions, there's a faction that believes America is just okay. It's fine. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to look at our past. Let's just, keep the government out of my business, and let me just live my life. And I'm not interested in politics, and I don't want to be engaged. And if it doesn't affect me, I don't give a shit. Until
Natural disaster strikes, and you better believe that FEMA had better be on their job, and if they're not, they're going to say, "Where's FEMA?"
And what am I paying my taxes for?
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
Exactly.
Yep.
So
it's the same government.
So
Same government.
by and large, leave me alone. It doesn't affect me until it does, and then it's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
And then there's the other group of people who believe that this is not a perfect place by a long shot. It's a great place. It's an awesome country. There are all kinds of opportunities here, and we are better than so many. We are wealthy beyond belief when it comes to comparisons to much of the rest of the world, particularly the developing world. But that by no means that we can't see that there's all kinds of room for improvement. And one only needs to look at the sheer number of homeless people in this country to understand that we're not doing everything right. That there's all modicum of poverty in this country. So we're not doing it all right. And trust me, it sucks to be poor. And if you are poor, it is not necessarily because you are a lazy so-and-so who doesn't want to work. There are all kinds of different reasons why people are impoverished, not the least of which that they lack the ability to do the things that would promote improvements to themselves, to their circumstances, to their finances. So everything's cool, leave me the fuck alone. Everything's okay, but we need to continue to work on it.
I'm sitting here thinking, and all of a sudden, the show All in the Family comes to mind. To me, one of the best things that ever happened to this country in the last 100 years. Norman Lear, God bless you, God love you. I mean, I don't have to say much more because I think probably vast majority of people, or many, or most people, have seen the show, seen it many times, and the threads that run through it kept running through it. And, Meathead pointing out all the flaws in the country, and Archie then saying, communist, the show, it's on Sundays at 6 o'clock, I think, here in New Orleans, and I watch it not every Sunday, but I still watch a lot of it. It's so relevant today. It is as relevant today as it was in the 70s, whenever it first played. Don't need to say too much about it because everybody or most people know what the line of the show was.
And so there you have it. So we are a divided country. There's little question about that. There was an interesting thing that I read about today, actually, that I hadn't known, which is that there's only 45% of American registered voters that have declared a party affiliation. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I was absolutely shocked by that. I thought, well, where are we getting all these ideas of, this and that? How many Democrats, how many Republicans? Yeah, only 45% of voters have declared a party. Of those 45, 37.4 have declared as Republican, and 44.1 have declared as Democrat. So still, it's less than half of the that we can, say are affiliated with a party. Less than half of registered voters.
No, that is surprising.
Yeah. So, actually, I have to tell you, when I first registered to vote, my very first election that I was eligible to vote for, when they ask you party affiliation, it's like, it's none of your damn business. And of course, they don't do that in Canada, right? Because it really is immaterial what your party is. It's not say there's it's not important. Anyway, the bottom line is that it's a divided country. It may not be as divided as people think it is. It really feels like it is for us because we are, paying attention to the news and we're reading and we're interested in history. But I think it's going to become much more divided when the policies of the current administration begin to really hit people at home. They can't afford their health care, or they can't even get health care. They can't afford groceries anymore because of tariffs. that they won't be able to afford to purchase a car because of tariffs, and trade practices that are going to be restricted. So I think that things are going to change, and yeah, so we'll see.
Let's see, was it last time or two podcasts ago when the topic was how does one what has it go? How does one
How do you talk to the other side?
how do you talk to the other side? And that's to me that's right where we're coming back to here. I have to go back to friends of mine, no names. They don't know who they are if they see this, so I hope they don't see it. Uh,
They don't seem like the YouTuber type of people.
new. They, I keep,
Not that that's a problem, by the way.
I find it almost impossible to talk with them about this. Almost, in fact, I'll go ahead and say that after the last two near calamitous discussions that we had, I'm not bringing it up anymore because I want to keep them as my very oldest friends in the city. But I find that so sad because they think I'm totally crazy and I think they're totally crazy. And so far the friendship is stronger than the pull in either direction politically. But as I said, I'm not going to take a chance on seeing how far that friendship can endure, being if as it gets pulled apart in any of our discussions. I'm just not going to do that. And again, I find that so sad because there ain't nothing that we haven't been able to talk about in 42 years. I mean, nothing. We have and could and have talked about everything, and certainly did not agree on everything, but not like this. I mean, damn Trump to hell.
Well, I think that there's a lot of people who aren't informed, who feel really strongly but are not really informed. So I was having a discussion the other day with somebody about the government shutdown. And he was cursing Democrats like it's the same CR that they voted for, before. And, this is all just about Chuck Schumer taking heat. And, he was not aware of the fact that the reason why they voted for the continuing resolution is because they were promised by the Republicans that that the health care, extending the premium tax credits, which, by the way, I saw a Steve Scalise ad this morning on the morning news saying that, we must protect the premium tax cuts.
I saw that. I've seen that.
And it's like, what are you talking about? This is precisely the thing that the Democrats are saying. No, you have to protect this for health care. It's one of the premium tax credits. And they're just denying it. So that was like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but that's just stupid. Anyway, oh my God, where was I? So this guy was not aware that the reason why that got voted, that Chuck Schumer voted for that, is like he didn't want there to be, a long shutdown, that people were going to, lose lose money. It causes chaos. It's a bad thing for the country to have a government shutdown. But that they were promised that there would not only be a vote about health care, but that they would bring it up for discussion. They didn't. They just lied. So the bottom line is that here's Democrats saying, well, no, we're not going to vote for this because, we promised we'll, bring it up for a vote as soon as, you just reopen the government. They didn't before. They're not going to now. In fact, this is precisely what they have vowed to get rid of. So Democrats are trying, I think, under the circumstances, to demonstrate to the American people that, look, we're trying to fight here with whatever we have, which isn't a lot, but we're trying to fight to keep your health care affordable, because their point is to make it unaffordable because they don't give a shit about you. They want to reduce the size of this government. And this is the other principle that Project 2025 is all based on, which is the notion that what should happen in the government should 100% be as a result and dictated to by the president. That his, and they use the term his constantly in this. There's no concept of his or hers. That their agenda is the one that absolutely everybody in every one of the departments, in every all parts of government, funded services, should skip to the tune of this one guy. So never mind the decades and decades of expertise that people have at, say, the Department of Justice, or decades of experience that they have in the Department of the Interior, or any of the departments. Never mind the experts. Never mind the experts. Screw them. You know, Health and Human Services, screw those doctors. What the president says is what everybody should be doing. And that's what they're in the process of changing the government to become. So, there you go.
I don't think that the Democrats should trust the Republicans for 1 second. Not 1 second. They lie and they lie and they lie.
And they have no problem with it, too. No compunction with it.
It makes me think of when I was in Italy, in Venice. We were staying in this little pensione, and outside our window, we were on the second floor, outside the window was this guy sang all day, just sang. And we went down to the desk, and the person at the desk asked us if the singing was bothering us. And we said, no, not at all. And the guy said, he's not from Venice, he's Roman. Romans, they sing and they lie. They sing and they lie. That's the way the Venetians feel about the Romans. Well,
that's terrible.
The Republicans aren't singing with them, they lie. One more thing, about 10 minutes ago, in a fit of whatever, I said, Trump should go to hell. I apologize, I shouldn't have said that. I really shouldn't have said that. I do believe in hell, and I think there are plenty of people in hell. Although some Christians say no, but I think there are. I'll tell one of my nasty little secrets, I guess. It'll be a nasty secret for some. Every single day, I pray for Trump and Netanyahu and Putin, because I really think that short of prayer and miracles, they will go to hell. These are evil, evil creatures, especially Netanyahu and Putin. They sort of make Trump look, quote, good. Not really, but.
That's a stretch.
No, it is a stretch.
They can be bad, but in comparison, he's still bad.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He just is. He's just dealing with some mental issues.
Oh yeah, and I can hear the non-walkers saying, "Listen to what this woman is saying about our president."
Oh, wait till you hear what I'm going to say next. Okay. For those of you who know me, my friends, and you've discussed this with me. My theory is that Trump is suffering from undiagnosed syphilis.
Here we go.
And for those of you who also know me, you know that before I became a chef and this fine retirement project I have here, that I was a head shrinker for many years. And that's what undiagnosed syphilis looks like. It really, really does. That weird stance with his chest out, his butt out the other way. I mean, that's undiagnosed syphilis, or advanced syphilis. The word salad stuff. If you listen to interviews with Trump from the 80s, like pick up the Howard Stern ones, You can catch them on YouTube or they're everywhere. He didn't talk like he talks now. He actually spoke in a pretty erudite fashion. He could string whole thoughts together. He actually sounded somewhat intelligent. And it's not remotely. Even the timbre of his voice has changed dramatically.
That's what you get for grabbing too much. Not gonna say it, but that's what you get. That's what you get.
There's something wrong with pussy.
I know there's nothing wrong with pussy. Anyway, God, what an
Made
audience
to say
out
pussy.
there. Dear Lord.
Anyway, we're trying to after the last video we did about trying to not feel helpless, or what do you do when you start to feel helpless? Humor, I think, is a really important part. So you gotta laugh.
Humor and satire and ridicule. Okay, to me, ridicule is, I'm going to say it over and over, ridicule should be way up there. Make him look like the fool he is, and go Newsom. Newsom, not my favorite person, but go right now. Right now.
I think as we move forward, we can positively have some discussions about who would make a really good Democratic nominee for president if there's ever going to be another presidential election in our lifetime. But something I didn't realize, actually, maybe you can confirm this or deny it. Somebody told me the other day about what the reference of, because I was like asking them about the frog costumes in Portland as the protesters to ICE, right, and to invasion of their city. And they said, well, it's a reference to the second plague on the Pharisees, the raining frogs.
No, on the Egyptians.
The Egyptians, sorry.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that.
Is that true? Is that? I mean, I wonder if that's where that comes from. But that's.
I don't know.
I don't know. But
I heard that was a reference to that biblical event. Yeah. But I don't know.
If it is, good on you.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and there are plenty of other places we can, make costumes.
I love that too.
9 others. Yeah, definitely.
Locusts. Yeah.
Definitely.
I could make a killer locust costume. The wings. Oh, that would be great. Lots and lots of glitter involved in that one. Anyway, so there is a short little introduction to Project 2025 and what it says and what it's about, and how their vision really, really, really differs from what I think a lot of Americans feel. So if you don't feel that we are so divided between woke people who believe crazy things and patriots and like the land of the free, home of the brave, people who believe in like the sensibilities of the American Revolution, which, by the way, I don't believe that the current Republicans believe any of the things that those who won the revolution believed. I mean, all evidence to the contrary. So anyway, that's a topic for another time.
Yes.
But the bottom line is that I think that the entire Project 2025 is based on a premise that is untrue and completely incorrect. And nearsighted.
And
tone deaf.
What was the title of the first chapter?
The very first chapter is Taking the Reins of Government.
Does that include giving them back at some point?
Oh, I don't think so. This is about taking the reins of government, bringing the horse to heel, and changing its colors.
I hate to say it, but I don't think I don't think they ever intend to give it back, give it up. You really don't. They'll find, and Republicans are good at this, really good at this. Democrats take a note. They want it so badly, they'll find a way. It may not be legal, but that doesn't matter anymore.
That's not a deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker anymore. It's really not. And I think now, I'm not saying that the Democrats aren't doing anything, but I hate to put it this way, but, well, I'll ask it as a question rather than say it. Do the Democrats have to be as mean and whatever as the Republicans?
Good question.
And I don't know, you know, I hope not, but if they don't, is there any chance at all of the reins of government not being in the hands of the Republicans till we all drop dead? I don't know. I don't know.
Good question. If you have any answers to that question, please post them in the comments. Certainly, the lovely platitude of when they go low, we go high didn't work very well for us, did it?
No, no, because I don't think the people who said that had any idea of how low they would go. This is something new. This is new times in politics here. It's not, you know, the old bad guys were bad, but God, these guys not only are they bad, but they are incredibly determined. They really are determined.
Yeah, they're like Bond villains.
Yes.
Really kind of
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, that's our opening comments about Project 2025. In the coming videos, we will delve a little bit further into some of the specific aspects of that document, what precisely it does say. And in the meantime, if you have an opportunity to pull up a copy of it, it's really, really long. It's like 968 pages or something like that. So you don't need to read it all. And I don't recommend that you do.
Maybe
Skim
just
it over.
the table of contents. Is
Table of
there a
contents,
table of contents?
There's a table of contents, and largely what that does is it will take you to the different departments of the United States government, and then you go there and you'll have a quick opening statement. Each one of them pretty much says something about the history of the department, something about where they see the trajectory of the department was from its inception to now, how they see it now, and how the Lone Ranger in the White House is going to fix it and bring it back to being proud American greatness. Anyway, lots to come. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I took a look.
I appreciate it.